Sunday to you. If you're coming into the live stream, whoa, my camera just slipped. Beg your pardon while I get that straight. Um, Welcoming you into the live stream. If you are watching the replay of this was recorded on Sunday, November 30th, 2025. Of course, messages are always timeless, but just to give you the kind of an anchor point as to where we were and when we were in the discussion. And let's see, I need some glasses so I can see. I got a feeling, yay. Hey, Supreme, what's up, what's up? Welcome, brother. And I definitely want to thank you and all of those that are joining in that have been with me over the past 24 hours in spirit, well wishes, prayers, intentions, positive energy, all of that. I'm still kind of sort of in my feelings, so I didn't attempt to read today. But I do definitely appreciate the spiritual lifting up, as it were, that I got over the past few days. I appreciate it. Hey, Lotus. Hey, Shamanic. Welcome, welcome. So, yeah, I definitely appreciate all of the spiritual assist that I got. And, y'all, look, like I say, I talk it, it's time to walk it. And, yeah, it still hurts. I don't know. I'm going to choose to take the high road and just expect the best possible outcome and just accept, you know. I have not heard from her today at all. So, but it is what it is. All I can do is wait and see and keep y'all posted. But I definitely appreciate all the positive energy that was sent my way. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to start out as a watering pot first out the gate. Good Lord. Yeah, look, but I gotta admit, that's period. I have become so emotionally raw over the past several years. It's like this empath thing be having me like way up in my feelings. Hey, Miss Brittany, welcome, welcome. No, you don't want me to let it all the way out. I'd be ugly crying up in here. That ain't fun or cute. So I'm gonna leave that for another time. Plus, I don't need to stay. Like I said, I don't need to push that kind of energy towards it. I need to, what do they say, live within the wish fulfilled. That's the best thing I can do for her, is to see this the way I want it to be. Hey, Boom's mom, welcome. Lauren, right? Isn't that your new thing? Yeah. They just keep leaking. Part of that spirit, though, because I'm here over the past couple of days. Well, let me put it this way. When I come live, y'all, I get just as much benefit from it as y'all do. I've had so much beautiful, positive feedback about how this is helping so many people kind of untie the knots and build their faith and helping them turn their worship gene off, but it helps me just as much as well. See, the past few days have been testing you too. Yeah, that part. Part of it's the energy, part of it's, well, it's just the energy and the powers that were. Listen, and I know what the scriptures say. We war not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. They know who we are before we know who we are. And even when our light is feeling kind of dusty, and like I said, we feel like two of our bulbs done burn out and the other one is flickering, those principalities and powers, they still coming for us. And the closer we get to where we're supposed to be, the harder they gonna come for us. So all we can do is stand strong and do the best we can. Even when it knocks us to our knees, don't let it knock us all the way down. That's all. Hey, Swims, welcome. I'm trying to read and tearing up. She's just not doing well, Shamanic. She's been bucking who she is spiritually for about a decade now. She is a very special being who wants to just be a regular kid. Well, she ain't even a kid no more. She's grown now. She's 25, but she's been struggling mightily. And because of it, there are a couple of different substance abuses and the mental thing and pushing. She's pushed pretty much everybody in her life away from her. But you know as well as I do, dealing with this energy onslaught, it's hard enough for somebody that is attuned to their spiritual welfare. It's damn near impossible to go it alone in these times, facing an energetic battle against dark without some kind of a spiritual basis and somebody at your back. And she's just out there alone, and yeah. No, Antoine Turner, I'm not reading anybody right now. I don't do tarot on this channel, but with what I've got personally going on in my energy field, it would have been doing a grave disservice for me to try to read somebody else's. And for me spiritually, right now, it's all I can do to navigate my energies and my daughter's energies and try to keep my head balanced in the right place. The teacher is in need, like I say, the healer is in need of healing right now. And just to be fair, I can't expend more energy like that at this time. This right here, this is what I do as far as teaching the biblical stuff and kind of having a conversation with my peeps. I can do that. But just to walk in cold on a stranger's energy right now and try to solve your love issues and who doing spell work and when is your money coming and all, I can't. I just really can't right now. I'm sorry. I can't even say I'm sorry because I'm really not. You have to tend to your own spiritual energy before you start pushing out stuff out there towards others. That's a hard one lesson that I had to learn in the past as an empath. My entire life I have given and given and given and given until there's absolutely nothing left. And the takers continue to sit there with their hands out like baby birds. So now I've learned when I need to conserve and preserve my energy, I do so unapologetically and unabashedly. And right now, I have to conserve my energy. Now, I will be doing personal readings this upcoming week. I've been, like I said, took a few days off to try to work through my own ish, but it won't be doing free readings. If you want a personal reading, you can email me at modernmysticmessages@gmail.com. I can set aside space and time, do the spiritual baths, clear the air, and look into whatever you like. But I'm not going to be doing free mini readings, like just sitting up 4-5 hours like I've been doing. It's too energetically draining while I'm in this spiritually vulnerable state. Let me see what else we got. Oh, I will find my healing, Antoine. Like I said, I just had to take a little bit of time, not even time off, but just refocus. Like I said, this part I can do the teaching, but people don't understand channeling other people's energies and messages and ancestors and stuff is very draining spiritually. And I just, right now, I know that that would not be wise. It wouldn't be fair to the people I'm reading for, and it's not fair to myself either. Little Mule, you do, my being here is helping me, heal. That's why I'm here. I mean, yeah, I understand that y'all enjoy it and everybody gets something out of the teaching, but it's as healing for me to sit in positive energy with those who do wish me well as it is for me to sit home alone and in my head and feeling crazy. I just didn't expect to be this weepy, but even when I don't have anything really sad going on, when spirit flows through me, I'm a watering pot anyway. So that's why I say, y'all, I'm gonna just have to do what I have to do. And thank you, Lauren, I appreciate you. Asmer Zakaria, I am absolutely not a Muslim, but yeah. I discussed them, Little Mule, yesterday. I don't want to keep hashing it over because I'm trying to get the energy together. I'm just going through um, something really emotional because of my child is literally going through emotional turmoil and possibly spiritual attack, and she's physically suffering under it. She's not doing very well. So as a mother, regardless of whatever problems we've had in the past, that's flesh of my flesh and blood of my blood. So when she's hurting, I'm hurting, you know? Hey, Miss CC, welcome. All right, y'all, let me get through these notes. Yeah, exactly. You cannot channel clear when you're not stable. Everything that I would try to read for somebody else will be colored with my pain right now, so I won't do it. That's not helpful to anybody. No. Oh, Antoine. Okay, never mind. I thought Antoine Turner was asking the date and time of my birth. And I'm like, ooh, no, not right now. Because I don't know you like that, bro. But no, any of those who need, any of my soul family that need to know my date and time of my birth can hit me up on the WhatsApp group and I'll happily tell you anything. But I had to learn from other readers the hard way now that I am in this space to go real slow about who I share my chart details with, because there are some strangers out there that will use your details to send spell work to you just because they're hateful like that. So yeah, I just be real careful about how I share my details. Yeah, exactly. You don't. That's a bond unless you deliberately sever your soul tie with your children, and they'd have to. I can't even imagine unless one of my children deliberately and viciously tried to unalive me or one of my other children. I cannot imagine. That's the only thing that I could think of that would cause me to sever my soul tie with my children. It don't matter what corner of the planet that they're on. I feel them. I feel them. Hey, with Healing Wisdom Arts. You having the same kind of issues with your daughter, Healing Wisdom Arts, yeah. And I mean, you can love them from across town. You can. For a couple years, I had to actually block her. It got so bad, but even then, I was seeing us in a better place in my mind's eye and got to that point. Like I say, I was able to unblock her. We're not calling each other and yucking it up and all that every week, obviously, or she wouldn't be in this emotional state. But it's been like 2 or 3 years that we've been back in communication, and she's gotten way more respectful, asked me to do readings for her and stuff. That's the thing that I think hurt so bad, because she asked me a few days ago to do a reading, and I didn't know what was going on with her, but I saw the pain. I saw what she's being called for spiritually. I saw quite literally a spiritual army of Orishas coming around her, but I also saw some form of energetic attack, and I didn't know how bad it was because I didn't let myself think it was that bad. But after I sent her the reading and she watched it, then that's when I found out how bad it was and that she's literally on the verge of giving up. But I know she did last night. She told me she's not gonna give up. She's gonna try to hang in there for me. I just haven't heard from her today, but she does that, so I'm not gonna allow myself to stress over that. I'm gonna just keep sending positive energy and intentions. And I got a couple of energetic warriors actually working on it behind the scenes for me as well. So I thank you on that. We're not gonna stay on that topic all night. We got to get to something more positive. Thank you, Lauren. Yeah. Hey, Jesus LeBlanc and Louis Dulac, welcome. No, I don't need to go to Geno Jennings. I'd have heard Geno Jennings before Louis. But the problem with, I don't have an issue per se with Geno Jennings in and of himself, except he's preaching standard biblical theosophy, and that is not truth. He doing what he know how to do because he ain't bothered to look no further than that book into other stuff that he needs to be looking into. Most preachers or thought leaders in Christendom refuse to acknowledge the information that's been uncovered in the past 150 years or so on this planet, because they understand that if they acknowledge the truth, it's going to cut into their money. And I've actually heard pastors of major mega churches literally to the point of almost crying because they understood that they were perpetuating a lie, but they didn't want to give it up because it would affect their money. Some of them do know the truth, and I know some of them know the truth because I've spoken with seminary-trained ministers that acknowledge that everything that I'm saying in my live streams has been taught them in seminary, but they're told not to teach it to the people. Go figure. That's when I got angry with religion and started speaking out very vocally. I can be just as rough as I want to on it because they are maliciously misleading the people for their own ill-gotten gain. Why is your money more important than this person's salvation? If you honestly believe that the truth you emanate and disseminate actually can affect somebody's salvation, and you intentionally teach them half-truths and direct lies, you're reprehensible. That's one of the reasons they said in Revelation that a lot of them folks was going to be destroyed in Revelation, because they're wicked. They have the responsibility to teach the truth, and they rather preach the lie instead. Hey, Miss Yates, welcome, welcome. And thank you, CC, for your prayers and intentions. Thank you, all of you, for your prayers and intentions. Hey, Chief Big Eagle, welcome. All right, y'all, so I caught up with the notes. Are we going back into the Emerald Tablets tonight? Are we going back into Genesis? Are we going into the 8th tablet in the Lost Book of Enki? Somebody put it in the chat and point me in a direction, and that's where we'll go. That's what we're trying to figure out. Like I say, it's up to y'all. This is your live too. I got all 3 of the books right here. It kind of sort of got marked where we need to start. So whatever y'all decide is where we'll go. Hey, Winlow, welcome. Emerald Tablets. Okay. All right. Oh, y'all don't feel like ain't nobody trying to hear the biblical, I don't want to say biblical BS, but quite honestly, because I think we're at the point in the scriptures where we're getting ready to talk about Jacob selecting his life and all of that. So yeah, we're gonna do the Emerald Tablets. That was the first vote for it. And y'all, but I will say this before we get into the Emerald Tablets. The other day, I was going in on Jacob. I said that Jacob went and married his first cousin. Y'all, it's worse than that. When I went and was trying to find a place where we were going to start, if we started there tonight, and read the scripture again, he married his niece. And intentionally bypassed all of them other people, all of those surroundings. And there's time after time after time in the scriptures. And they go, oh, well, it was because the people, hey, Paul, welcome, welcome. They'd go, you know, basically in religion, they say that that's because they had to stay with people that were spiritually pure. I don't, what? So instead of trying to find someone that you can convert to a believer in the people around you, they intentionally inbred as close as first cousins, nieces and nephews, and stuff like that. And they endorsed it, and they so-called God endorsed it. Nasty. What converted me? Sito who's king? Or Cthulhu? Oh, Cthulhu is king? Okay. Um, what converted me? A desire to know the truth. Being stuck in religion for so many years and understanding the more I read, the less sense it actually made until I started digging around and doing a little further stuff. And a very consistent meditation life. I got reached a point where I started, look, I spent hours at one point. I was spending 3 or 4 hours a day in meditation, barefoot, grounding, salt baths, all of that until I broke through that wall and clairaudience, like real clairaudience, kicked in. And then after that, I started paying attention to where my spirit team was leading me to read and research. And after I would hear something in meditation, and then within a day or 2 or 3, I'd be led to some place online, an article, documentary, video, whatever, that would confirm what I was shown in meditation. And it happened consistently over and over again till I couldn't deny the pattern and understand that I was being led in a specific direction for a specific reason. And I just leaned into it. That's one of the reasons why, like, people come in here, well, you need to go and read the Quran and you need to go read the Talmud. No, I don't, because that is not what my spirit team told me. If they ever tell me to, because they're the ones that told me to start. Do you really think I wanted to go and read all the apocryphal texts? But no, my spirit team said I needed to. My spirit team led me to read the Emerald Tablets again. They told me to go and get the Lost Book of Enki. So that's why I do what I'm told. And it's working out so far. It's helping me connect the dots based on the Christian information that I had as a child, the way I'm able to go back and reread it with a greater understanding now, and help connect the dots with additional ancient texts that are even older than the scriptures. Okay, well, confirmation bias and whatever you want to call it. But when I'm being confirmed, when I got to a point, I started hearing things in meditation that I honestly did not know the answer to and had to stop and go look it up. And then find out that what I heard in meditation was actually the truth. Then somebody else can doubt it because that's not their walk and they're not hearing and receiving that information. And they can dismiss it as being woo-woo or a bunch of what, they can say whatever they want to. But I know what I received and I know where it's coming from because I know what I prayed for. And I know how it feels. And I know how the information checks out, so. Okay, cool, Paul. You sent me some emails? Awesome. Because that's what we're all supposed to do. There's not nobody on this planet. No preacher, no pope, no pastor, no archbishop, nobody can prove any of our spirituality, not even this. Because we didn't even have this in this form until a group of people got together and decided for themselves that these books were the ones that were supposedly authorized and holy, and that's what they were going to allow us to have. They sifted through over 200 books to come up with this and gave us the abbreviated and redacted versions. They didn't give us the original text dutifully translated and there's no mistake. Stop it. Don't be that naive. Yeah, I know where it came from. Because I specifically, once I understood that I was receiving clairaudiently Cthulhu is King, and I started receiving clairaudiently in 2007. Sitting in the middle of a Seventh-day Adventist revival meeting. And no, I'm not Seventh-day Adventist. I was dating a dude at that time that was there. But that was the first time that I actually knew that I had a thought that I did not think on my own. At the time, I didn't know exactly where it was from. But again, I was raised around Christianity my whole life, so I didn't. If I'm sitting in the middle of a Bible meeting, reading the Bible, and ain't never dabbled around in darkness or none of the rest of that stuff, why would I go and start doubting where it came from just because you choose to? Stop doing that. You can carry all the doubt you want for your others. Don't come and dash doubt on people's information when they're sitting there telling you something. I didn't ever say there was a God, Paul 1, whoever you are, Paul 1L. I didn't say that. You ain't heard me say not one time. I said I was sitting in the middle of a Seventh-day Adventist revival meeting when I zoned out and heard a thought in my head that I know I didn't think on my own. Cthulhu is king is the one challenging where is it from, who is it from, and all the rest of that. That wasn't my business at the time. I just knew that it was a thought that sounded good, felt good, and I didn't think it. And then a year or so later, I had another clairaudient episode in my bathroom at 1:30 in the morning where I had another series. They can say whatever they want to, but again, I'm not just using confirmation bias based on nothing when there is archaeological or information that's been dug up out the ground and translated, much information other than an orally dictated volume by somebody who was not only a PDF file, but also had other multiple mental issues. See, Muslims base their stuff on what Muhammad said. Muhammad used to roam off on his own for weeks and months at a time off in the hills, and Yahweh, Allah, El, Jehovah, Baal, Beelzebub, whatever you choose to call him, has a repeating pattern of picking off outliers. I don't think no better or worse of Protestants than I do anybody else. I think if they're still claiming Christianity, worshiping Jehovah, I think of them what Yeshua told me to think of them, that they are worshiping at the synagogue of Satan. That part. All right, Cthulhu, I didn't have no psychotic episode. Again, if I can sit there and I didn't even tell you what I heard, because it's not a psychotic episode. The second clairaudient experience that I had, after it literally, one of the informations that I was given literally saved a woman's life. And the second piece of information that I gave, the person that listened to me, it saved their life. The person that chose to ignore me when I gave them the message that was meant for them lost $238 million in a lawsuit that they had going on because they refused to listen to the message I got that night. So it wasn't just a psychotic episode. It was you want to call it a psychotic episode, but there were verifiable results behind the information that I was given. Adam Levis, you said the Torah didn't come from God. It really did not. The only thing that they can say came from God, potentially, and again, it ain't God. Enlil is not God. Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you choose to call him, is an Anunnaki being that came here on a spaceship and paraded around as a God, but he's not God. That's my entire point. Came from men. You know how I know the Torah and the Talmud didn't come from God? Because in the Talmud, somebody was telling me the other day about this little thing that they got in there, that if a child tempts a man and the man violates the child, it's the child's fault for tempting the man. Get the F out of here with that foolishness. Ain't no religion that promotes no nonsense like that gonna tell me it's of God. Stop it. Same thing with Muslims. Is she old enough to bleed? She old enough to breed? Bullshit. The Bible is a collection of over 3,000 years of other people's mail. There is some historical value to some of the books, primarily the Pentateuch, but a lot of that are the records. Most of this is the Yahweh story from scribes and people that chose to follow Yahweh, but this is what there will be gnashing of teeth, Carl, but mine ain't gonna be gnashing because I'm teaching what Yeshua was teaching, and people don't like it, and they come up in here without knowing what they talk about and attack me just like they attacked him, and it's all well and good. I don't care. I mean, you know, Because they don't, their ignorance is shining. Yeshua spent 3 years after spending 18 years on a spiritual sabbatical. He spent 3 years trying to teach the Yahweh worshiping Jews that the Elohim that they were worshiping was the devil. He said that directly to them. He said, the Father who sent me is not the Father that you worship. You worship your father, the devil. Go read the Gospel of John if you think I'm lying. Yeah, exactly. I know what I know that I know that I know because I've been shown it so many times in so many ways and confirmed by way bigger and better people than these people that sitting here in this live stream challenging me, by people who have made it their life's work to study this stuff, that have gone to Israel and looked at the original text and looked at the translated text and gone and did the comparative studies and been sitting in seminary and all of that stuff over and over and over. So I don't have to sit there and explain to them none of that. Boy, bye, Adam Levis. She ain't got to quote chapter and verse to satisfy you. All you got to do is turn on the television and look at what the Muslims all over the world is doing today. Stop the bullshit, Adam, or you gonna be put out of here too. Oh, there you go. That part. People get me. Again, you want to defend the undefendable. Islam is not better. It may not be worse than Judaism, but it certainly isn't any better than. And Christianity is a little bit more clandestine in the way they put forth an outward show of being more progressive. But at the end of the day, all three of those religions worship Yahweh, and Yeshua said Yahweh is the devil. That part. Yeah, Swims, I see your comments. You good. You good. Let's get on up in here. We had a request for the Emerald Tablet, so that's where we's a going. And let me see. Let me clean my glasses. I done cried, so I think I done threw grease on them from my eyeballs or something. Now, yesterday we left off at Emerald Tablet 2. Thoth had been led by the Dweller down to the dark death, and his light flame was freed from the cycle of reincarnation. And the Dweller told him that, he said, "Go as ye will, so be it decreed. Master are ye of your destiny, free to take or reject at will. Take ye the power, take ye the wisdom. Shine as a light among the children of men. Upward then led me the Dweller, dwelt I again among children of men, teaching and showing some of my wisdom, son of the light, a fire among men. Now again I tread the path downward, seeking the light in the darkness of night. Hold ye and keep ye, preserve my record, guide shall it be to the children of men." So he was given his immortality, but chose, instead of just going off to roam the rest of the cosmos like he was free to do. Yeah, I think I will make it a subscriber only chat. Let me do that, because let me see. Participant mode, subscribers. They're going to have to wait at least a minute. If it gets worse, I'll make it more than a minute. But yeah, all right. Okie dokie. So now we are in subscriber only mode. And we're going to start back up with Emerald Tablet 3, the Key of Wisdom. Since he, like I said, he was free to go, but he chose to stay to help us. And he's saying, this record is being preserved to be a guide for humanity. You welcome. Ain't no point working y'all harder than we had to. Yeah, I was about to say King James didn't write the whole of King James. Wasn't it Tyndale that wrote most of the King James, and King James authorized it, but King James wasn't no Christian at all. at all, at all. He was fascinated with demonology and stuff. Yep, he used Tyndale's work. And like I said, his other greatest hit was a book of demonology. And he was into little boys. That part. That's what people don't really want to understand. 52 scholars in Shakespeare, yeah. All right, y'all. The Key of Wisdom, Tablet 3. I, Thoth the Atlantean, give of my wisdom, give of my knowledge, give of my power. Freely I give to the children of men, give that they too might have wisdom to shine through the world from the veil of the night. Wisdom is power, and power is wisdom, one with each other, perfecting the whole. Be thou not proud, O man, in thy wisdom. Discourse with the ignorant as well as the wise. If one comes to thee full of knowledge, listen and heed, for wisdom is all. Keep thou not silent when evil is spoken, for truth, like the sunlight, shines above all. He who oversteppeth the law shall be punished, for only through law comes the freedom of men. Cause thou not fear, for fear is a bondage, a fetter that binds the darkness to men. And honestly, that sounds like a message to the trolls. Like I said, don't let fear stop you from speaking your truth. If you know something to be the truth, don't let ignorant people silence you. Yeah. And don't let fear silence you. Follow thine heart during thy lifetime. Do thou more than is commanded of thee. When thou hast gained riches, hold on a minute, that seems kind of loud, my bad. When thou hast gained riches, follow thou thine heart, for all these are of no avail if thine heart be weary. Diminish thou not the time of following thine heart. It is abhorred of the soul. They that are guided go not astray, but they that are lost cannot find a straight path. If thou go among men, make for thyself love, the beginning and end of the heart. If one cometh unto thee for counsel, let him speak freely, that the thing for which he hath come to thee may be done. If he hesitates to open his heart to thee, it is because thou, the judge, doeth the wrong. Repeat thou not extravagant speech, neither listen thou to it, for it is the utterance of one not in equilibrium. Speak thou not of it, so that he before thee may know wisdom. Silence is of great profit, and abundance of speech profiteth nothing. Exalt not thine heart above the children of men, let it be brought lower than the dust. If thou be great among men, be honored for knowledge and gentleness. If thou seekest to know the nature of a friend, ask not his companion, but pass a time alone with him. Debate with him, testing his heart by his words and his bearing. That which goeth into the storehouse must come forth, and the things that are thine must be shared with a friend. Don't this sound an awful lot like Yeshua's teachings? I'm just saying. Or maybe Yeshua's teachings sound a lot like Thoth, since Thoth came along first, to be fair, you know. Knowledge is regarded by the fool as ignorance, and the things that are profitable are to him hurtful. He liveth in death. It is therefore his food. The wise man lets his heart overflow, but keeps silent his mouth. O man, listen to the voice of wisdom. List to the voice of light. Mysteries there are in the cosmos that unveiled fill the world with their light. Let he who would be free from the bonds of darkness first divine the material from the immaterial, the fire from the earth. For know ye that as the earth descends to earth, so also fire ascends unto fire and becomes one with fire. He who knows the fire that is within himself shall ascend unto the eternal fire and dwell in it eternally. Fire, the inner fire, is the most potent of all force, for it overcometh all things and penetrates to all things of the earth. Man supports himself only on that which resists. So earth must resist man, else he existeth not. All eyes do not see with the same vision, for to one an object appears of one form and color, and to a different eye of another. So also the infinite fire, changing from color to color, is never the same from day to day. Hey Cece, welcome back. Thus speak I, Thoth, of my wisdom, for a man is a fire pure, burning bright through the night, never is quenched in the veil of the darkness, never is quenched by the veil of the night. Into men's hearts I looked by my wisdom, found them not free from the bondage of strife, free from the toils thy fire, O my brother, lest it be buried in the shadow of night. Hark ye, O man, and list to this wisdom, that where do name and form cease, only in consciousness invisible, an infinite force of radiance bright. The forms that ye create by brightening thy vision are truly effects that follow thy cause. Man is a star bound to a body until in the end he is freed through his strife. Only by struggle and toiling thy utmost shall the star within thee bloom out in the new life. Y'all, what have we said about the Super Dave crash and burn entry into this experience? Sometimes it's that painful stuff that actually sharpens us and propels us towards expansion, and Thoth is kind of saying the same thing. Oh, hey, Akasha's Journey, welcome. We are in the third of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Dorial's translation. Yeah. And I'm just, like I said, I get stuff. Every time I go through these, I get something different. And thank you, Cece. I'm glad that y'all find it calming. And, I don't know how my daughter's doing, Akasha, but I do thank you for your well wishes. Hopefully all is well with her. We'll find out soon. But yeah. Let's see. Everything that has being is passing into yet other being, and thou thyself are not an exception. Hold on a second, y'all. I'm sorry. I want to get some music back, but I messed around and paused it. Here we go. Okay. Everything that has being is passing into yet other being, and thou thyself are not an exception. Consider the law, for all is law. Seek not that which is not of the law, for such exist only in the illusions of the senses. Wisdom cometh to all her children, even as they cometh unto wisdom. All through the ages the light has been hidden. Awake, O man, and be wise. Deep in the mysteries of life have I traveled, seeking and searching for that which is hidden. List ye, O man, and be wise. So he's telling us right here and now, it's not the obvious stuff that we're being spoon-fed. What we really want, the nuggets that's going to actually help us, are the hidden things. It's in the mysteries. Go deeper. In other words, you ain't never going to get the truth sitting on a pew in Sunday school. It's not gonna happen. I didn't say it. Thoth said it. He said, as we grow, we must try new things to become more knowledgeable. You need to feel uncomfortable to move on. Yeah. Like you said, we don't go for the status quo. The low-hanging fruit, the shiny stuff, because that's what they give you to distract you and literally suck you down into a pit of your own ignorance. That's what humans have done. Went for what we was told because we thought that's all we can do. And Thoth is saying, nope, 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 nope. I'm here with some other stuff, but you got to have enough wisdom and discretion and discernment to be willing to go for the hidden things. Actually, we're in number 3, I think. Wait a minute, let me double check. Yeah, we're in number 3. Said the wormy apples are always on the ground. Okay. Far beneath the earth crust, In the halls of Amenti, mysteries I saw that are hidden from men. Oft have I journeyed the deep hidden passage, looked on the light that is the life among men. There, neath the flowers of life ever living, searched I the hearts and the secrets of men. Found I that man is but living in darkness, light of the great fire is hidden within. Before the lords of hidden Amenti learned I the wisdom I give unto men. Masters are they of the great secret wisdom brought from the future of infinity's end. 7 are they, the lords of Amenti, overlords they of the children of morning, sons of the cycles, masters of wisdom. Formed are not they as the children of men? 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. 9 are the titles of the masters of men. Far from the future, formless yet forming, came they as teachers for the children of men. Live they forever, yet not of the living, bound not to life and yet free from death. Rule they forever with infinite wisdom, bound yet not bound to the dark halls of death. Life they have in them, yet life that is not life. Free from all are the lords of the all. Forth from them came forth from the Logos, instruments they of the power o'er all. Vast is their countenance, yet hidden in smallness, formed by a forming, yet known yet unknown. 3 holds the key of all hidden magic, creator he of the halls of the dead. Maybe Anubis? I don't know. Sending forth power, shrouding with darkness, binding the souls of the children of men, sending the darkness, binding the soul force, director of negative to the children of men. Well, maybe not Anubis then, because it said they're binding, sending forth power, shrouding with darkness, binding the souls of the children of men, sending the darkness, binding the soul force, director of negative to the children of men. 4 is he who looses the power. Lord, he of life to the children of men. Light is his body, flame is his countenance, freer of souls to the children of men. 5 is the master, the Lord of all magic, key to the word that resounds among men. 6 is the Lord of light, the hidden pathway, path of the souls of the children of men. 7 is he who is Lord of the vastness, master of space and the key of the times. 8 is he who orders the progress, weighs and balances the journey of men. 9 is the Father, vast he of countenance, forming and changing from out of the formless. Meditate on the symbols I give thee, keys are they, though hidden from men. Reach ever upward, O soul of the morning, turn thy thoughts upward to light and to life. Find in the keys of the numbers I bring thee, light on the pathway from light unto life. Seek ye with wisdom, turn thy thoughts inward, close not thy mind to the flower of light. Place in thy body a thought-formed picture, think of the numbers that lead thee to life. Clear is the pathway to he who has wisdom. Open the door to the kingdom of light. Pour forth thy flame as a son of the morning. Shut out the darkness and live in the day. Take thee, O man, as part of thy being, the 7 who are, but not as they seem. Opened, O man, have I my wisdom. Follow the path and the way I have led. Masters of wisdom, sons of the morning light and life to the children of men. Y'all, as I was reading this, a thought kind of occurred to me because that I didn't have the last time I read through this. When it's talking about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 and who they are. And like you said, 3 holds the power, the key of hidden magic, creator of he of the halls of the dead, sending forth power, shrouding with darkness, binding the souls of the children of men, sending the darkness, binding the soul force, director of negative to the children of men. And you will wonder, hey, Oi Wolf, Lucian, welcome. it makes you wonder, why is 3 even allowed to be there among the rest of them? But here's the thing, it occurred to me initially, the goal initially was to dig the gold, right? And the mission kind of sort of changed midstream after they started building the cities and the different civilizations. And then, like I said, Yahweh insisted on securing worship and all that other good stuff. But there also came a time where they've gotten the gold, but then they found out that they've been here too long to go back. They can't go back home. And if Yahweh, if Anu has not called for the exile or execution of Yahweh, then he would have had rights of entry to behind the ice wall, Middle Earth, wherever it is that they go when they're not going to be amongst humans anymore. But it's saying that in the halls of Amenti, the 32 basically exist in this stasis state. And many of them are still lending their energy towards the upliftment of man. Now, three on the other hand, 3 is still showing his ass and doing his thing. And I'm kind of sort of thinking that almost has to be either Marduk, if he ain't gone. They, like I said, it said that Alexander the Great found the tomb of Marduk. Marduk may actually be dead, but Enlil definitely ain't. And if he's not beneath the Vatican, he's probably in the halls of Amenti or behind the ice wall, Middle Earth, wherever with the rest of them. But it seems like at this point, the objective has changed somewhat. Because just like he brought up that issue of loyalty and sovereignty and all of that in the book of Job, well, of course he serves you. You give him everything. But I bet you if you take this and that from him, he'll curse you to your very face. So now they still, if they are these 2 brothers that are on this pathway towards looking for sovereignty amongst humanity, at this point, it may literally be kind of a testing point, not as a point of who's going to heaven, who's going to hell. Again, we are not so easily separated at this point, the Adapa line from the Adamu line, by strictly by intelligence. We're going to be able to separate ourselves by who can awaken during the time of awakening, who can turn off their worship gene, who will be able to seek and find and accept the hidden things that Thoth is talking about, the things that who can understand Yeshua's ministry and is willing to go against the tide of the world and pick up their cots and follow Yeshua, despite what the rest of the world tells you is supposed to look like. Who can actually connect the dots and work the puzzle. Those are the ones, like you said, that are chosen. Many are called. Few are chosen, not because they're being bougie against the chosen, but because few are actually able to get it. Has their consciousness expanded? Have they awakened enough to be able to work the puzzle? I really think that's why part of the reason, again, Anu ain't trying to get rid of his son. That's his son. And they look at things differently than we do. So we see it as so good, as a strict issue of good and bad, and why don't we get rid of him and all that. But again, we could look at it that way, but it still is an issue of sovereignty and freedom of choice, because Yahweh can do whatever he wants. There's nobody on this planet that's forcing us anymore. They're not riding through towns and villages and forcing people to worship Yahweh on the end of a spear. Everything that we choose to do spiritually at this point on this planet is a matter of freedom of our own choice. Now, yes, those choices are grossly manipulated by our first handlers, our parents and pastors and teachers and stuff. But once you get to be an adult, you still have the ability and the responsibility of discernment. And so that way it does become kind of a test, if you will, in my opinion. Again, that's an awful lot for me to get out of them 2 paragraphs, but it is what it is. Well, Oi Wolf Lucian, again, I let that go yesterday. You didn't have to come and bring us no explanation because I said what I said, and I don't think it's wise. And most of the folks in the live stream didn't think it was wise either. But you hell bent on playing with that. So when they bite you in a if you play with a puppy and they bite you in your ass, you can't get mad. Now she can sit there and tell you anything she wants, but you're questioning of somebody that has labeled themselves as a hellhound, and you still trying to justify cozying up to her because what? Because she looked good. That's weak-mindedness on your part. Weak-minded. Because for a want of some coochie, you ain't even with this woman. You just friends while you wrap your head around all of this, but you still trying to figure out how to cozy up to them, even though you done seen her eyes flashing red and seen her shape-shifting right in front of you, but you still panting after something that you know to be of the dark and potentially dangerous and demonic. And that's what you want, then go on about your business. That's why I said if that's what you want to chase after, this probably ain't your channel. You don't have to come back and make no justification or expense. Exactly. Poisonous snake is a poisonous snake is a poisonous snake. And if you choose to rake a poisonous snake into your bosom, you don't get mad when it bite the shit out you. That part. That's like saying, oh, they told me they're a vampire, but I don't really believe that, so I think they'd be all right. And then get mad when you sitting up with all your soul sucked up out of you. Well, I don't believe in a succubus, but dude, you looking mighty gray over there for somebody that ain't being sucked dry. Your energy, you know, you don't have to believe in electricity either, but if you stick your finger in a damn light socket, there's gonna be signs, you know? Let's not be unnecessarily foolish. You said no way you see something like that and don't get exactly. But not only do he want to justify this, and he ain't even got this woman. Out of 4 billion women on the planet, he go and get the heifer that he done seen shape-shifting, eyes flashing, and then admitted that she's a hellhound. That's the one he want to go and chase. More power to you and y'all brood of whatever kind of little demon puppies y'all have. I ain't got nothing else to do or say about it. Nothing. Because we over here is chasing light. We not chasing demonic entities. Yeah, he got to be under some kind of possession to want that mess. That's why I said this probably ain't his channel. Because I'm not going to argue every night for somebody that... Why would I argue to try or go out of my way to try to keep explaining and trying to help somebody that wants to argue for their limitations and insist on... That's like the crazy behind white women in the horror movies that insist on going down into the basement even though they at home alone and no ain't nobody supposed to be in the basement, but they hear something and go down there with the who's there, and then wonder why her ass is being drugged in a bloody path across the basement thing the next scene. Sometimes you got to have enough sense to survive the end of the damn movie. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, he got to be just looking for attention. Yeah, we going ahead. We gonna go on to something else right now. So we on to Emerald Tablet 4, the Spaceborn. Fact of the matter, let's clear the air a little bit. Archangel Michael, please place a wall of protection around this message, around this session, and all of the listeners. Any beings that are here that are of divine light or seeking divine light are welcome. Any that are here for demonic foolishness, we banish them and be gone now. May they be banished behind your protective wall of light. So mote it be. Ashe. Hold on, y'all. I got to get some incense rolling here because... Hang on, y'all. I'm so sorry, but this, I think it's necessary. Got to get a little rechargey charge over here. Trolls be gone. Got to get some trolls be gone juice going up in her. Oh, you so very welcome. In fact, I think I'm gonna even switch up the music. I want to find something that's more conducive to what we needed to have done here. The intention behind this track is specifically for the purpose of quickly burning away evil eye curses and return evil to the owners who sent it. That's according to the intention of the creator of this track. So that's what we're going to listen to for a minute. Okay. All right. On to Emerald Tablet 4, shall we? List ye, O man, to the voice of wisdom, list to the voice of Thoth, the Atlantean. Freely I give to thee of my wisdom, gathered from the time and space of this cycle. Master of mysteries, son of the morning, living forever a child of the light. Shining with brightness, star of the morning, Thoth, the teacher of men, is of all. Long time ago, I, in my childhood, lay neath the stars on long-buried Atlantis, dreaming of mysteries far above men. Then in my heart grew there a great longing to conquer the pathway that led to the stars. Year after year, I sought after wisdom, seeking new knowledge, following the way until at last my soul in great travail broke from its bondage and bounded away. Free was I from the bondage of Earthman. Oh, the other thing is, Akasha, that was Dragon's Blood Sage, but yeah. And I am burning frankincense incense. Yeah. One of the other things I wanted to say about Tablet 3 at the end of that, just like Thoth evolved spiritually and energetically during his time here on Earth, and apparently Enki did too, because he came here, stalked me or whatever, but then he kind of progressed into this, to be the voice of the dweller and all of that. But think about it, over 300,000 years, those who aligned in the Anunnaki Wars, kind of clear emotional battle lines were drawn, if you will. Those who were choosing to be on Team Enki, along with those who are choosing to be on Team Enlil. And over time, especially, like he was saying, he's not the only one who has to spend 100 years out of every 1,000 in the stasis point. They all do. And apparently, folks kind of knew about that legend. What do you think about Dracula? How long did he winds up sleeping for hundreds of years? He's hundreds of years old and all of that. He said the energy Yeah, that's what's up. The energy clearing and reset is working. And I- very much so. Yeah, definitely. Um, but yeah, I got to thinking about that. All of the 30 and 2 who have chosen to stay here and all of that over hundreds of thousands of years as they continue to go into their Guanti as well. And they've chosen to stay here to basically energetically and psychically battle the things that Yahweh and the Watchers put into place to set this crazy trajectory for humanity, and they're wanting to help us work the puzzle, so to speak. Um, why would it be hard for people to think that they would evolve and continue to ascend as well? And that's one of the reasons that they say that they are living and yet not living. What does it say? Bound yet not bound to the dark halls of death, life they have in them, yet life that is not life. Free from all are the lords of the all. So they have continued to ascend as well and are still choosing to stay here to help with our ascension. And I've heard that before, that like Yahweh, Ra, all of those that we would have looked at as deity, well, not all of them, but like it said that Yahweh as well as Ra, and I guess by the same, well, I think Enki and Yeshua have Venusian roots, but either way, it said that like Yahweh is a 6.5 dimensional being from the central sun, and if that was the truth, if if he was at a sixth and well, he's choosing not to ascend, he's focused on negativity. But if the rest of them have been constantly going through these cycles year after year after year, and they've been at this, like I said, they've been over 300 cycles now because they've been on earth 445,000 years. Don't you think they would be doing some spiritual evolution if they ain't got nothing better to do? If they done spent the last 120 or so thousand of them years laying in this stasis state and incarnating through mentally through other bodies as teachers and this and that. They're taking bodies at a time and all that, but their main physical avatars are primarily in stasis. They're working their own puzzles too. Like he said, the ascension path doesn't stop. Yeshua still got initiations and stuff to go through, but he, Thoth, Enki, I'm sure Nenma at least, and who knows how many others. Like the Emerald Tablets mention, um, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven of them, and then one of them is looking towards negativity. But if the other six are looking towards positive stuff and they're steadily ascending, then they are becoming higher and higher in their light bodies as well, and basically leaning back like parents to children. Come on, you can do it. Come on, come on. And all we gotta do is follow them. Swim, she said, do you think the same way they ascend, it can also be the opposite for forces such as Yahweh to continue to descend? Possibly. Possibly. Hey, Douglas M., welcome, welcome. How are you? But here's the thing, Swims. If you think about energy, if he continues to descend and they continue to ascend, eventually they're going to absorb him because energy, especially on this planet, energy is toroidal. And it will eventually he'll either be unalived intentionally or absorbed, especially if there's way more of positive forces than there are of negative, because for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. But if it's literally 6 against 1, he ain't got a dog in that fight, and he knows that he's literally just trying to take down as many as he can just for the hell of it on his way out, because he hates humanity and always has, and that's never going to change. So as many as he can continue to blind and bind and corrupt, especially so that those who serve them can continue to feed off their energy, use them like batteries and stuff, then they will. Um, but like I say, whether it's allegory or whether it's literal, what they put in the end of the book lets me know he's not going to be a problem for humanity always. So whether he comes to his own end, whether they bind him someplace else or exile him on another planet or actually unalive, whether they actually unalive him, however it go, it's kind of pointing to the fact that he's not going. Because think about it, this mess we going through right now can't continue forever. Do y'all honestly think we can do another 100 years like this, what we got going on the planet right now? I don't. I honestly think that if something doesn't happen, humanity is going to implode. If something doesn't stop, and it ain't going, I don't even think it's good. I don't think we can last another 50 years like this, to be honest. I think we're hurling through space on this fantastic voyage. Gaia is in labor, and all of these energies and stuff that we're feeling are marching us to, like they say, the Valley of Megiddo for the final skirmish in the Anunnaki Wars. It just ain't going down the way people think it's going to go down. And I think that's why so many people are awakening, even awakening to the things, because I'm not the only person on the internet that's talking these things. You know, these people act like I just made up this stuff out of my head and I'm crazy. No, y'all just been asleep too long. Wake up, boo, wake up. I thought I was behind because the awakening literally been happening since 2012. That was the point. That was the shifting point. The Mayan calendar didn't go past 2012 because there wasn't no point in them go. If we didn't make it to that point, there was no point in us in them going any further. We had to make it past 2012, and when we made it to 2012, our spiritual, galactic, whatever you want to call it, contract was renegotiated on the fly. Didn't nobody find it odd that the Cold War with the Soviet Union just kind of dissolved? Nobody really knows how, when, or why. It just kind of went away. And they keep talking about World War III and the this and the that. All these things they've been talking about, but it ain't happening. And there's a reason for that. By now, we probably, with the energies the way they are, like I said, Cryon suggests that the major pole slip that should have been happened was harnessed somehow and is being administered in smaller, manageable bursts instead of one big shift that would have scrambled our memory, shut down, flipped our poles and caused all of that stuff to happen and been a for real calamity. They're saying that it's being kind of a controlled slip, if you will. Still energetically difficult, but I mean, it's obviously that there is no way to prove that, but it is something to think about. People been seeing fleets of ships in the night sky for the past 10, 15, 20 years. I mean, people been seeing UFOs for hundreds of years, but more and more people are having experiences where multiple people are seeing multiple ships at one time. It ain't deniable. It ain't a weather balloon. There's really a lot of galactic activity that's happening out there, and I believe that part of that was the troops rallying to help us because we made it past 2012 without destroying ourselves. That was the indicator that our consciousness was going to be able to expand to the point of being able to hit critical mass before we imploded ourselves. Because critical mass is only 2.5%. We need 2.5% of the population to fully awaken and begin to ascend, and it will begin to take over according to physics, like 100th monkey syndrome almost. It'll be like a ripple effect, kind of forcing a massive awakening because of that. So if we got 8 billion people on the planet, 8 billion, so I don't even, what is that, 800 million we would need to awaken it, almost a billion. Well, no, not 2.5. 80 million. We might be close to 2.5. I mean, to 2.5%, because that would be roughly 200 million people to truly awaken to their spirituality. I don't know what the numbers are like, but there's so many people online talking about this stuff now and working on their meditations and working on this and that and all of that. Like I said, we can go into uh, a live stream or a chat group or whatever and talk about these things, and everybody automatically calling you crazy. Yeah, the Bible thumping trolls and the fanatics and stuff still want to, because they're just really, really not mentally or spiritually developed. But for the most part, you can go in places and find resonance. No, you're not considered crazy anymore. Exactly. I don't know what the numbers are like now, but I know it's got to be plenty, because this area of spirituality is becoming more and more mainstream. It ain't just a few hundred people gathered or a few thousand. There are some of these channels that have literally millions of followers now. So it's happening. And it's going to happen in our time. You say you keep seeing a lot of orbs and a lot of ships. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And people channeling the different galactic beings and social memory complexes and archangels and all of that is something. Everybody ain't crazy and everybody ain't making that up. People that are so simple-minded that they still stuck on that type of time. They're the ones that's got a problem and need to wake up and smell the coffee. You know what I mean? Because I know I ain't crazy. I don't care what they come here to eat. They don't even know me like that. But I know good and full well I'm not crazy. And I know the folks that are in the soul family that I've had an opportunity to talk to one-on-one, they ain't crazy either. And we all got those similar kind of way out there stories. They're not making it up. Yeah. Oh yeah, they've been here, but that's what I'm saying. When the powers that were start talking on television, things like paradigm shifts, and you hear them on television talking about med beds and I mean, we can look around on the commercial sector and see how long they've been naming things after angels and ascended masters, and we're seeing certain deities' energies are starting to be brought up and all that again. Thank you, Shamanic. I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. And it is. And I thought about that, and I had a couple of conversations with some brothers and sisters, Cece I spoke with, as well as Supreme and Paul, and they were reminding me of that too, as part of her trial, but mine as well. Because here's the thing, and again, teachers still got to be a teacher regardless of what they walking through. It's difficult, and I had to stop, and it gut punched me for a second. But at the end of the day, most of the chosen are making this walk alone. And some of us are losing family, mamas and daddies, lovers, husbands. And some of us, even if our children are still physically living, there's a separation there that eventually we're going to lose them too. And I've even mentioned on this channel that some people, if they're not at a point where their consciousness can awaken and ascend, some of them, many of them, in this time period are choosing an early exit point rather than to get caught in the further tribulation to come. That part. Oh, you say your mom transitioned 4 months ago, Kasha. I'm sorry for your loss, but so that's what I mean, and again, it's hard when I have to, like I said, do a gut check, swallow hard, and accept that for myself as well. I still, of course, I pray that it doesn't happen, and of course, I want her to pull through. I want her mind, body, and spirit to be healed. But I also have to understand she's 25 years old, and she has her individual spiritual walk just like everybody else. The thing, and it occurred to me, regardless of how this plays out, the main thing that she wanted was to touch base with me, and I found that very touching because she has no contact. She moved up there with her daddy, but has no more contact with him. But she reached out to me, and she said she didn't want me to be ashamed of her or think she was a coward or embarrassed. And I let her know it ain't none of that. I I've never felt that way about anyone, even the ones who choose an early exit by their own hand. I hate that it got that bad for anyone, but I will never judge those people because you don't know their walk. You don't know what was going through their heart, their mind. You don't know what kind of spiritual attacks that they was under, that they felt like that was their only recourse. I do know that God don't judge them, and I know that there's no burning hell. That I know. So it's sad, but I also know that for some people, when the pain of this environment is too great to bear, I think about Robin Williams. People loved him so much and they were sorry to see him go. But it is said that he received some diagnoses that he knew life was going to get extremely more painful for him than he was willing to bear. And he chose an earlier exit point while he still had the option to be in control of his own faculties, as opposed to laying up somewhere in pain with a broken body, you know? Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. When you got somebody, the first thing that people start down that path is they give up or neglect the physical temple, and that's been going on for like a decade. And eventually, if you break the physical temple, it can't support the mind in any helpful, wholesome way, and it allows a chink in your armor that allows you to be under spiritual and or psychic attack. Oh yeah, we keep praying for them, but we also have to understand that we all gotta walk. And like I said, there are some folks that are leaving the experience early during these times. It's a mass exodus off this planet that's happening. It started back in 2020 when a lot of that happened, but some of those folks that are leaving early like that are leaving so that they can do a quick turnaround. Some of them will be working energetically through the veil, but some of them are actually leaving early so that they can do a quick turnaround. You said life is the hard part and dying is the easy part. Everyone's soul journey varies, so you can't judge how different people handle pain. Exactly. Exactly. Um, Case in point, and some of the folks that know part of my personal story, but for those who don't, I'm not going to get into all the details now, but let me put it to you this way. When I was in high school, I did dual enrollment classes my last 2 years of school. And when I was taking psychology, I had the blessing of a beautiful teacher. April O'Connell was her name. And I forgot what her maiden name was, but as she was telling us her life story, she was rescued from the concentration camps. I think it was Dachau during World War II. Her parents did not make it, but she came out of the concentration camps. And so she got a story for your ass, right? And we took some kind of a stress, I don't remember the name of the test, but it's a test that indicates the stressors, like puts a value on the stress points of your life. And at 17 years of age, when I took that test, she held me back after class and was concerned that I might be, you know, having some ideations towards ending my life because of the level of stressors that I had already had in my life at 17. And I just thought it was just normal living, you know? When I tell y'all I have religious and family trauma, and I thought I had a relatively happy life. I mean, it really did, but I still, when I look back on it, there was a lot of stuff. I was happy because I chose to be happy. I loved because I chose to be loved. And I'm not saying that my family didn't love me as best that they knew how, but it was some serious dysfunction all around me from birth. But I'm like, heck no, I'm not fit to take my life. What's wrong? But the point was, it was at that point at 17, and I hadn't even got started living yet. Hadn't gone through SA, hadn't gone through being abandoned, hadn't gone through the religious abandonment, hadn't gone through the deadbeat baby daddies and the violent DV daddy and none of that. I hadn't gone through any of that yet. And she was already concerned at the age of 17. I'm like, girl, you should see me now. Right? You should see me now. But I also realized right up the road from the town that I lived in, there was a full-time mental health facility. And my twins' grandmother worked for years in that facility, and she would tell us the stories of some of the folks and how they got there and all that other stuff. And some of the stuff that people lost their minds from to the point of having to be locked up for years and years and years, and some of them locked up forever, it boggled my mind. And I'm like, you went crazy over what? You had a complete, like, psychotic break because you wanted your parents to buy you a Mercedes and they brought you a Buick instead, and you lost your mind and had to be hospitalized. But then, like you say, different folks can take different things in life. So truthfully, I can't even get mad at nothing that happened in my life to this point because it's made me super resilient no matter what. I'm like a Rose of Jericho flower. You ever seen that? It looked like a little tumbleweed. It could sit on a closet shelf balled up in a little dry, ashy brown ball for years. And then you put it in a bowl of water and it'll bloom and turn green in a few hours. That's me. I ain't leaving here easy. But I understand everybody can't do that. Yep, swims. I have 2 girls. They are 25 and 34. And I have twin boys who were, they are 30. You said anyone who defeat their own unalive and let you know resurrection is real. Shamanic, you want to hear the crazy part? This beautiful daughter of mine that I was talking about is having issues. She kind of did a few years ago. It got on me. Oh my goodness. She had gone through, at the time I wasn't even really talking to her, because like I said, I had to back away from her for several years. And this one particular day, I just couldn't rest. It got on me, on me, on me. I didn't know what it was that was going on. In fact, I felt so stirred in my spirit that I called somebody that I thought was a friend at the time that was supposedly a prayer warrior and all that, and asked him to pray with me. Because she got on my mind in a way she hadn't been on my mind in years. And I just got really worried, and I went in on it and went in on it and went in on it. And a couple days later, she got in touch with me. And I found out that at that moment, at that very moment in time, she had been in the process of taking her own life. She had taken a bunch of pills and had put them over her head and had lost consciousness. And during at some point during that prayer session, she regained consciousness and woke up and ripped the bag off her face. And she decided at that point, as bad as her head was hurting, she was like, if I try this again, I might not be successful and I could wind up sitting in an institution somewhere, a vegetable locked inside my own body. And she decided not to try that again. Oh. I'm glad you made it too, Akasha, for real. Hey, Robin Williams Daniels. Hey, welcome, welcome. We in the Emerald Tablets, but we was taking a moment because they were kind of talking over some of the stuff that I'm going through a moment with my child, and they was lifting me up a bit. You say it was, well, swims, it was kind of sort of, at times it was fun. For me, it wasn't so much fun because I had zero support system and a daddy was a jerk. I used to dress them similar, but not exactly alike. So I'd buy a really cute outfit. They had a couple of outfits that were alike, but I rarely dressed them alike at the same time. Most of the time, I would buy this like different color schemes. So if I bought an outfit and they had one red and one blue, then I'd do that. Or, when they were smaller, I dressed them alike more. But they were fraternal twins anyway, so I got out of that real fast. Oh yeah, absolutely. Our deepest afflictions don't go unnoticed. And even though that was even before I was fully tapped into Inky and whatnot, but I was, like I said, I've been tapped in with Yeshua regardless. And I know I had two events that happened like that within a short time period that let me know that my prayers were being heard and that angels were watching over my children. The second one was with one of the twins. Now, he was not trying to unalive himself. And fact of the matter, I done told him he got to, thankfully, he's got two kids now. And at 30, he's calming down. He wasn't violent or bad or anything. He just had crazy accidents, careless, fall asleep at the wheels, speeding up and down the road, slip and fall or climbing over a bridge, fishing, and all kind of craziness. I was like, boy, your guardian angels is tired. They want you to sit your behind down somewhere. But when he was younger, and like I said, and closer, so he was like 26, 27, he went out partying with some friends. And he doesn't drink a lot, but they were drinking that evening, and some friends decided to give him some party favors, if you know what I mean. Now, he doesn't make a habit of doing that kind of stuff, but he was out partying with people that he trusted, and he didn't want to be a party pooper and whatever, so he took what they was taking, and they got a hold of a bad batch of something. And all of them were sick as a dog for several days, but he was, when I say sick, sick, it was messing with his heart bad, because the last time I had talked to him, he was like, it feel like an elephant is sitting on my chest and I can't get, and he had been like that for several days after one pill. And again, I had to go back into the prayer closet, and I spent the better part of the night praying over him. But the very next morning, he got relief. He was still not feeling worth a damn for a few days, but that night he tried to go to the emergency room, and they didn't even take him seriously and kind of sort of sent him back. And then he got scared to go back because he didn't want to, he didn't want to tell nobody what he had actually done, so they couldn't assess him properly. But yeah, I was genuinely afraid for his life when he started telling me the symptoms and how long it had been going on, because he was a cardiac baby at birth. And now he's sitting up here 27 years old telling me it feel like an elephant is sitting in his chest and it's burning so bad. Feel like a fire is going on in his chest and an elephant is sitting in it. I was very worried. But he's still here and he's healthy as a horse and he don't do that kind of stuff no more. And I told him, don't let nobody give you nothing. Nothing. They are close. There's close as they can be considering their life circumstances. One of my twins is a sergeant in the Air Force, and he's been stationed. He was in North Korea, then he went to Germany, then he went back to North Korea, and he's been in Japan for like the last 3 or 4 years. But like last year for their birthday, they went to Thailand together. So they're as close as they can be, yeah. And they so silly when they get together. Oh my God, I don't particularly want to go in public with them when they get together. But they're handsome, so they get away with a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? They go out places, and they just know that they got all eyes on them. I'm like, oh my God, whatever. Anyway, let's get into. Let me see. We're in the tablet 4 now. Let me see. But the reason, well, it ain't that he was raised from. I ain't gonna go into that today with you, shamanic. It ain't got nothing to do with what Romans says about Christ being raised from the dead. Christ never actually died when they tried to crucify him. He was a high mystic yogi. He knew how to slow his breathing down and all the rest of that. If you notice in that story, they didn't run him through with the sword. They didn't break his legs. And when they took him into the tomb, they took healing herbs into the tomb with him. He didn't die. That part. And the message of that whole thing was, like you said, fear not those who can kill the body but cannot destroy the soul anyway. He was teaching people to step onto the path of ascension, become Christos during your lifetime like he did. That's what he told them to do. Hey, Shawanda Sheree. Welcome, welcome. All right, y'all. Emerald Tablet 4, the Spaceborn. List ye, O man, to the voice of wisdom, list to the voice of Thoth the Atlantean. Freely I give to thee of my wisdom, gathered from the time and space of this cycle. Master of mysteries, son of the morning, living forever, a child of the light, shining with brightness, star of the morning. Thoth, the teacher of men, is of all. Long time ago, I in my childhood lay neath the stars on long-buried Atlantis, dreaming of mysteries far above men. Then in my heart grew there a great longing to conquer the pathway that led to the stars. Year after year I sought after wisdom, seeking new knowledge, following the way, until at last my soul in great travail broke from its bondage and bounded away. Free was I from the bondage of earthmen. Hey, Michael Stevens. You're going to have to look it up. I said what I said. If you heard me, you can go back and put it into search at a Bible website or Google or what have you, and you'll find it. I'm not going to stop and look it up because you're trying to take the conversation somewhere else today, Shamanic. I appreciate that you're less trolly than you've been in the past, but you still got that trolling spirit, and I'm not going there. We're in the Emerald Tablets today, okay? So thank you, but no. Free from the body, I flashed through the night. Unlocked at last for me was the star space. Free was I from the bondage of night. Now to the end of space sought I wisdom, far beyond knowledge of finite man. Far into space my soul traveled freely into infinity's circle of light. Strange, beyond knowledge were some of the planets, great and gigantic beyond dreams of men. Yet found I law in all of its beauty, working through and among them here as here among men. Flashed forth my soul through infinity's beauty, far through space I flew with my thoughts. Rested I there on a planet of beauty, strains of harmony filled all the air. Shapes there were, moving in order, great and majestic as stars in the night, mounting in harmony, ordered equilibrium, symbols of the cosmic, like unto law. Many the stars I passed in my journey, many the races of men on their worlds, some reaching high as stars of the morning, some falling low in the blackness of the night. Each and all of them struggling upward, gaining the heights and plumbing the depths, moving at times in realms of brightness, living through darkness, gaining in light. Know, O man, that light is thine heritage. Know that darkness is only a veil. Sealed in thine heart is brightness eternal, waiting the moment of freedom to conquer, waiting to rend the veil of the night. Some I found who had conquered the ether, free of space were they while yet they were men. Using the force that is the foundation of all things, far in space constructed they a planet, drawn by the force that flows through the all, condensing, coalescing the ether into forms that grew as they willed, outstripping in science they of all the races, mighty in wisdom, sons of the stars, Long time I paused, watching their wisdom, saw them create from out of the ether cities gigantic of rose and gold, formed forth from the primal element, base of all matter, the ether far flung. Now, this to me is interesting because he's saying when in his travels, when he was there, when he learned how to basically escape the body through the astral travel, which he talks about more later. He warns us of astral travel, but he learned how to do it safely. And as he continued to ascend spiritually, he started visiting other worlds through his ability to bilocate, basically, or remote view, or however it is that he's doing it. But he saw some worlds that were less advanced than us, some worlds that were more advanced than us, and some, even though they were still incarnated in physical bodies like humans, had mastered and had ascended so far spiritually and mentally that they are able to now become the makers of planets. They can move things with their mind. They can build at will. There was something, hold on, in the compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Carson comments on, hold on. Let me see what he had to say in 4. Because I remember he said something about, he says that Thoth is referring to the cyclical rise and fall of civilizations at the beginning of the 4th tablet, just as the Mayans believe that there have already been 4 worlds, and that we are moving into the 5th world now as we enter the age of Aquarius. And then he says that Thoth appears to have mastered the use of the Merkaba. The Merkaba has been viewed historically as a chariot or vehicle that allows a person to ascend into higher worlds or descend into lower worlds. In actuality, however, the Merkaba is much more than a vehicle that escorts people to different worlds. It's a primal pattern attributed with creating all things in all universes, visible and invisible. And then there was, this is the part that I was talking about the types of civilization. His commentary, this is Billy Carson's commentary on the 4th tablet. He said Thoth had come across men and civilizations so advanced that they had mastered control over the fabric of space-time. He traversing the universe in speeds unimaginable, encountering falling and ascending civilizations. He finds beauty and harmony in faraway worlds. This is a direct reference to a Type 2 civilization which is able to build a Dyson sphere. According to Russian astrophysicist Nikolai Kardashev, civilizations can be separated into classifications according to their energetic consumption and disposal. For example, humans eat dead plants and meats which sustain our energetic needs. Therefore, according to Kardashev, we are a Type 0 civilization and we have not even made it onto his scale. In other words, Kardashev's scale categorizes humans in the most lowly type of civilization. There are 3 main types of civilizations. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. There are 3 main types of civilizations that exist according to Nikolai Kardashev. The types have been arranged into a scale called the Kardashev scale and are arranged according to how advanced they are at harnessing and utilizing energy. Additionally, others have added 2 extra classifications to the end of Kardashev's scale to make room for more possibilities. The types of Kardashev civilizations are called Type 1, Type 2, Type 3, Type 4, and I think it should have been Type 5, but it did Type 4 twice. I don't know why, but anyway. Interestingly enough, these types of civilizations match with Thoth's descriptions of the various levels he witnessed as he traveled throughout the universe, and then explaining the different types. Type 1 This type of civilization consists of species who can harness energy from a neighboring star. These beings gather and store the energy from the star to provide sustenance for a growing population. Abilities these kinds of civilizations might possess would include having control over earthquakes, volcanoes, and the weather. Even though these feats may be difficult for our current society to achieve, according to this scale, these are just base and primitive levels of control. It is estimated that human beings may be able to become a Type 1 civilization within the next 100 years. I fully believe that because there are people on this planet right now, people don't want to acknowledge them. But there are people on this planet right now that can affect the weather with their minds. They can talk to the storms and ask them to behave. I know because I've done it. I don't say I can consistently do it all the time because you make that kind of declaration and then the government gonna want to harness you for ill-gotten means. But I've had it happen so many times, enough times that I know it's not coincidence. When you know it's getting ready to start raining and you hear it, you feel the rain starting and then you ask for it to stop and it holds off and gives you another 30 minutes to give you just long enough to get home before the bottom fall out the sky. Or when you had in the middle of your hurricane coming or whatever and you talk to the storm and ask it to go someplace and then it diverts and dies down in a way that none of the meteorologists could predict. That's when you start knowing. And that's what I'm saying. And that was from a broken, unhealed, kind of haphazard way. So I have no doubt in my mind that at some point in time when you become more cognitively aware of it, you can do it with intention. But again, humans are evolving. People don't want to understand that, but we are definitely evolving. You said tapping in and intention, absolutely. Yeah. And knowing that you can do it. Like I said, not listening to the naysayers that want to laugh at you and tell you that that's weird and woo-woo and you crazy and you lying. We shoot ourselves in the foot and step on our own capes and allow other people to step on our capes so bad it's not even funny. Yeshua said, did I not tell ye are gods? And yet we still refuse to believe that. He told us we could become Christos in this lifetime. Now, we ain't going to do it sucking down coke and eating sugar bombs and eating all of the whatever. There's some stuff that have to happen for us to be able to awaken that power within us. And that's a lot of the stuff. A large part of that is becoming aware of what the powers that have put into place to keep us stuck, and then choosing to start moving away from those things and allowing our energy to rise and knowing that we can shift with intention and learn to do that. People want to call, like, there are people that tap into sorcery and magic, and you can take those kind of shortcuts, but an ascended being is a natural magician anyway. As above, so below. And what you decree out of your mouth, so it shall be. But we have to know that we can do that. And decree responsibly. We issue a whole lot of haphazard spell work just from our hurt and egotistical places, not even realizing that the things that we say travel far in this universe. Even when we think we're joking. Like, it bothers me so much. We've reached a point in time where we abuse language so bad, and there's a lot of people that have gotten to the place where they think it's cool. That self-deprecating speech is so cool. Oh, they listen to something. I'm dead. I died of laughter. Oh, you crazy. Shut up. Bitch, you stupid. Oh, There's a lot more to that than we're willing to acknowledge. A lot more to that than we're willing to acknowledge. And people need to learn to be way more careful. What do they say? There's power of life and death in the tongue. Yeah. Anywho, let's continue on. Type 2 civilization consists of beings who can actually harness the power of an entire star. This means that they can control the star and not just the energies around the star. Even in our Type 1 civilization, it has been hypothesized that we may be able to control a star by using a device called a Dyson sphere. This device would be used to encompass an entire star and then gather most, if not all, of the star's energy before sending it to our planet for later use. A different method might be to create a gigantic reactor that can harness a star's energy, that is, if our race has mastered fusion power. Yet another method might involve utilizing nearby gas giants for their hydrogen. A Type 2 civilization would be extremely powerful and cannot be compared to anything we currently know. If we were to become a Type 2 civilization, however, we would have some amazing abilities. For instance, if an object the size of our moon was on a course to crash into the Earth, we could vaporize it out of existence. We could even move our planet out of the object's way. In fact, we could move another planet into its path, creating a shield that protected the Earth from impact. Amazing, right? That kind of energy could make our civilization immune to extinction, but in the wrong hands, that kind of energy could actually cause other people's extinction, and that's why we ain't there yet. Because we ain't nearly ready for that kind of power. Look at how the beings on this earth abuse the little puny power they got here. They fight like roaches over stuff that don't even belong to them. My land, your land. What? This ain't none of y'all land. And 100 years from now, it's going to belong to completely different people. Type 3. In a Type 3 civilization, their species becomes a master race. They know everything there is to know about energy. To become this type of civilization, humans would be required to go through hundreds of thousands of years of evolution, biological and mechanical. It would be reasonable to think that in future generations, when humans reach this stage, they may be much different than the humans we know and love today. These types of humans may include cyborgs, which are cybernetic beings that consist of biological and robotic body parts. Humans, as we know them today, may even become a subspecies in that kind of society. In all likelihood, wholly biological humans would probably be seen as inferior, unevolved, or even disabled by their cyborg counterparts. How might this kind of civilization work? It is speculated that there might be millions of cyborgs and robots capable of self-replicating, making it possible for them to colonize entire galaxies, moving from one star to the next. If they built Dyson spheres to encapsulate each star, then they could create a massive network to send energy back to their home planet or other planets if needed. They would not be without perceivable complications, however, because the laws of physics would constrain them. Unless they developed a warp drive or mastered wormhole teleportation, which are only theoretical at this time, they would be limited. Now, do you understand why the galactic laws or the galactic rules of planet to planet travel forbid altering or tampering with the life forms that you find there? Because the wrong power plopped into the wrong hands before their consciousness is expanded enough to know how to properly handle it becomes dangerous indeed. Look at what has happened here on Earth by giving us knowledge of munitions and weaponry and black magic and sorcery. Look at how many, we like I said, we've reset ourselves at least 3 times, heading up to a 4th reset, because we keep basically destroying ourselves instead of ascending like we're supposed to, because the information was introduced. We were altered as a species, and then information was introduced to us before our collective conscious was ready to receive it. And that's a problem. Planets and the species on them are supposed to evolve naturally, so that by the time they get to this Type 3 civilization with all its power, they know what to do with it. War don't happen on, like I said, you can't, civil, planetary, interplanetary war would not be able to exist on this. You can't use like petty revenge tactics on a planet who has a knowledge and technology to move planets and create Dyson spheres and harness stars and all that. You ain't gonna be fighting over land barriers and who gonna be king of this and who gonna rule over there and who got more money in their bank. That's petty crap that they would have to be way beyond before they get this kind of power. Type 4, Kardashev did not believe that a species could achieve a Type 4 classification. He claimed that that kind of civilization would be too advanced. Others, however, speculated that a Type 4 civilization might be capable of harnessing the energy content of the entire universe, enabling them to traverse the accelerating expansion of time. These types of species might even live inside of black holes. Currently, we cannot even dare to dream of what kinds of methods this type of civilization would use to harness and generate energy. Type 5, this is where godlike beings may exist. They would have the knowledge and means of manipulating the universe as they please. They in different dimensions altogether. Like I said, they ain't even, when you get to a point that you can move and manipulate and all of that to other planets, the next step is to expand the universe and go create more worlds, you know? Why would you want to stick around doing all of that? Oh, everything with love, yeah. Yep. All right, so that was, like I said, that reminded me of his commentary, so I want to go and take a look at that. Um, Far in the past, let's see, he talked about the stars that he passed, and they were outstripping in science, they of all the races, mighty in wisdom, sons of the stars. Long time I paused, watching their wisdom, saw them create from out of the ether, cities gigantic of rose and gold, form forth from the primal element, base of all matter, the ether far flung. Far in the past, they had conquered the ether, freed themselves from the bondage of toil, formed in their mind only a picture, and swiftly created it grew. Forth then my soul sped throughout the cosmos, seeing ever new things and old, learning that man is truly spaceborn, a son of the sun, a child of the stars. Know ye, O man, whatever form ye inhabit, surely it is one with the stars. Thy bodies are nothing but planets revolving around their central suns. When ye have gained the light of all wisdom, free shall ye be to shine in the ether, one of the suns that light outer darkness, one of the spaceborn grown into light. Just as the stars in time lose their brilliance, light passing from them into the great source, so, O man, the soul passes onward, leaving behind the darkness of night. Formed forth ye from the primal ether, filled with it the brilliance that flows from the source, bound by the ether, coalesced around, yet ever it flames until at last it is free. Lift up your flame from out of the darkness, fly from the night, and ye shall be free. Traveled I through the space-time, knowing my soul at last was set free, knowing that now I might pursue wisdom, until at last I passed to a plane, hidden from knowledge, known not to wisdom, extension beyond all that we know. Now, O man, when I had this knowing, happy my soul grew, for now I was free. Listen, ye spaceborn, list to my wisdom, know ye not that ye too will be free? List ye again, O man, to my wisdom, that hearing ye too might live and be free. Not of the earth are ye, earthy, but child of the infinite cosmic light. Know ye not, O man, of your heritage? Know ye not ye are truly the light? Son of the great sun, when ye gain wisdom, truly aware of your kinship with light. Now to ye I give knowledge, freedom to walk in the path I have trod, showing ye truly how by my striving I trod the path that leads to the stars. Hark ye, O man, and know of thy bondage, know how to free thyself from the toils. Out of the darkness shall ye rise upward, one with the light and one with the stars. Follow ye ever the path of wisdom, Only by this can ye rise from below. Ever man's destiny leads him onward into the curves of infinity's all. Know ye, O man, that all space is ordered, only by order are ye one with the all. Okay. Order and balance are the law of the cosmos. Follow and ye shall be one with the all. He who would follow the pathway of wisdom open must be to the flower of life, extending his consciousness out of the darkness, flowing through all time and space in the all. Deep in the silence first ye must linger until at last ye are free from desire, free from the longing to speak in the silence, conquer by silence the bondage of words. Abstaining from eating until ye have conquered desire for food, that is bondage of soul. Then lie ye down in the darkness, close ye your eyes from the rays of the light. Center thy soul force in the place of thine consciousness, shaking it free from the bonds of the night. Place in thy mind place the image thou desirest. Place the place thou desirest to see. Picture the place thou desirest to see. Vibrate back and forth with thy power. Loosen the soul from out of its night. Fiercely must thou shake with all of thy power until at last thy soul shall be free. Mighty beyond words is the flame of the cosmic, hanging in planes unknown to man. Mighty in balance, moving in order, music of harmonies far beyond man. Speaking with music, singing with color, flame from the beginning of eternity's all. Spark of the flame art thou, O my children, burning with color and living with music. List to the voice and thou shalt be free. Consciousness free is fused with the cosmic, one with the order and low of the all. Know ye not, man, that out of the darkness light shall flame forth, a symbol of all. Pray ye this prayer for attaining or wisdom. Pray for the coming of light to the all. Mighty spirit of light that shines through the cosmos, draw my flame closer in harmony to thee. Lift up my fire from out of the darkness, magnet of fire that is one with the all. Lift up my soul, thou might and potent, child of the light, turn not away. Draw me in power to melt in thy furnace, one with all things and all things in one, fire of life strain and one with the brain. When ye have freed thy soul from its bondage, know that for ye the darkness is gone. Ever through space ye may seek wisdom, bound not be fetters forged in the flesh. Onward and upward to the morning free flash, O soul, to the realms of light move thou in order. Move thou in harmony, freely shalt move with the children of light. Seek ye and know ye my key of wisdom. Thus, O man, ye shall surely be free. And that is the end of the fourth tablet. I think we're going to stop there for tonight as far as the readings. 2 tablets per night is enough to absorb, if you will. But, I mean, even still, you still have to know that you know that you know that you're ready. And he talks about that later too. Like I said, just deciding to go into the astral. If you notice, twice now he's mentioned before you get ready to do this level of spiritual work. Number one, it requires fasting, and then it requires determination, concentration, and long meditation along with the fasting. And even then, he has some warnings and cautions for us as to how to navigate once we actually get in the astral. It's not something for just anybody and everybody to jump up and do. You have to know what you're doing and be careful. What? Hey, Thandy Lazala, welcome. Oh, okay. I'm not sure what side lesson y'all had going on over there, but okay. All right. Did anyone have any thoughts, inputs, questions, or anything before we jet for today? Did I put y'all to sleep with the reading? Oh, I've been known to do that before. Well, y'all, if ain't nobody got no further thoughts or comments or anything like that. Oh, you said something about being able to talk to the storm. Yeah. I enjoy reading these as well. Yeah. Thank you, Swims. Thank you, Winslow. Winlow. Thank you, Antoine. And people don't realize we've got the energies, like I said, basically the mineral kingdom, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom. There are things that govern a lot of the energies on this planet far more than what we take a lot for granted when we kind of dumb down in religion. Yeah. Um, but if you really stop to think about it, with the storms, think about what would stir up a storm. Energy is never lost. I don't ban you. You must be coming in here saying something slick out your mouth that gets on the nerve of the moderators are people just like you, except they have a heavy level of respect for what we're teaching here. So you girl Luca Ray, if you come in here and say something slick out your wrist instead of out your mouth, they may ban you because they're not trying to hear what you coming with if you coming with foolishness. Yeah, no, energy is never destroyed, it's transmuted. But if you think about all of the strife, the violence, the greed, the corruption, the evil, the things that we do, or humans, I ain't gonna say we, because I'm not doing, off in my little thing by myself, but you think about the violence that happens on this planet. Where do people think that energy goes? And then they wonder why we have hurricanes that come and bust levees and push people around, and tornadoes that rip through the country, and all of that stuff, earthquakes that pop off, and landslides and floods and all, because the energy over the place is so out of balance. It literally disrupts other energy patterns and other systems. The meditation part, yeah, that, like you said, well, and again, fasting is easy for some people, it's not so easy for others. Meditation is easier for some people than others, but Thoth is kind of saying you got to figure out a way to conquer both of those things and put it together. That's why I say some of the people that brag about traveling in the astral, it really makes me wonder, are they truly in the astral, or are they in the midst of a lower energy delusion? Some of them. I ain't saying everybody, but some of the things that they talk about happening in the astral sound like they be in the devil's playground, which there are aspects of the astral that is like that. That's why Thoth warns us. There are non-corporeal energetic beings that will absolutely prey on you if you jump your behind out into the astral before you're spiritually mature enough to do so. But everybody that done read a book or heard that it's possible up and assumes they're spiritually ready for it, and a whole lot of folks go out there and mess themselves up doing that. But that's up to them. You don't even know the real history. Why would God want you to believe events which occurred thousands of years ago? And why would you be punished if you doubt? You ain't gonna be, again, nobody said you was gonna be punished. The fact that you keep clinging to a God that's so hell-bent on punishing you, that's a you problem. That lets you know that you're not ready to receive this level of truth, because the things that I teach are liberating for people that are ready to hear it. You're still wanting to plug into the Abrahamic religions, which will bind you and punish you, and you go into hell if you don't get it right, and if you ain't worshiping the right God, you gonna die and go to hell, and if you don't follow into the right church and do the right thing. And they steadily do it. And I'm telling you, that's a deception and a subterfuge, but you don't want to hear that. You want to continue going and following after that, and you keep yourself spiritually, mentally, and energetically stuck when you do that. That's all. First off, your girl Luca Ray, um, quote unquote, God isn't choosing one message. If you would open your mind and go do your homework instead of showing up here just to be a problem child in my little bitty channel, there are hundreds of people that are out there teaching the same things that I'm talking about. I'm not the only one with this message. There are people that done wrote books and books and books on top of books about it. There are theosophical societies that are discussing it. There are paleo contact experts that discuss it from the biblical aspect as well as the fossil record. There are all kinds of people that are talking about these things. I'm not just making up something and talking out the side of my neck, saying things that ain't nobody else ever heard. And if you would listen more and text less, even the people that join on this live stream, very many of them have studied for years and years. I don't know those people, but they come in here and tell me these are the same things that they're studying. It resonates with what they found in their research. They understand that. But you so busy wanting to come in here and tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about, even though you've done none of the homework, none of it. Again, I do understand about evolution. I done said it. If you talk more than you listen. I've mentioned on this channel that the fact that we stand here today as Homo sapiens sapiens means that the Anunnaki came here, found an existing hominid according to their writings that are thousands of years older than this biblical text, but which the biblical text include an abbreviated elementary version of their writings. Those texts don't negate what the Bible says. It gives you more context, your girl Luca Ray. But they tell us that they found a hominid that was here, and they hybridized that hominid with their DNA because they understood that the hominid, Ninmah said, this creature that we found could have been us from 1,000,000 years ago. But their society, their planet, their technology, and their species had already evolved further than us because they're millions of years older than us, and they blended their DNA with the hominid that they found here, and they created Homo sapiens sapiens. Let's say, for example, if they found Homo erectus. Left on its own, Homo erectus would have taken 2, 3, 4 million years or more to make it from Homo erectus up to Homo sapiens, left to its own devices, had they not come and genetically engineered the evolutionary jump. They sped up the evolutionary timeline, our evolutionary timeline, by 2 to 3 million years by genetically altering us with their compatible DNA. And they told us that they do that. So you say, why do God don't want me to believe that, and don't want me to believe this? I didn't say God wants you to believe. Common sense should want you to believe, because especially when the brother of the main one that's parading around here pretending to be God, Yahweh, Jehovah, Allah, his brother also translated a book. This is the pretty much the Yahweh story. A few other Elohim do show up in it, but Yahweh was so jealous that over time they get genericized out. The names get scrubbed, so all you hear is Lord, God, Elohim, the Lord, all of that. But the main character in this book had a brother, and he authored this book. And in this book, he said that a lot of the stuff that they did, they didn't have to do. And they dared to play God. They came here and messed with the Father of all beginnings creations. And one of these days, they might get judged by the Creator of all for doing what they did, because what they did broke galactic law. They came here and tampered with a life form that they found here for their own selfish, necessary, but selfish purposes. And they freely told us that. And humans in their arrogance, ignorance, and stupidity want to sit back and disavow all knowledge of this while continuing to choke down this violent, misogynistic lie all day, every day. So you go figure. That's a fault in your intelligence. Because when I read it, it had the same kind of ring of truth that the scriptures did. And because I've read the Bible so many times, I could recognize a correlation to a lot of the characters that was mentioned in this book versus the characters that were mentioned in this book. And then I started reading them side by side and understood this book is not negating this book. This book is just giving a broader context to help me understand what this book actually is. Hey, Silas Madgley, welcome. Is Spaceborn another way to call someone starseed? In my opinion, yeah. Like they talk about, instead of saying the space-time continuum, they talk about time-space. But yeah, the Spaceborn, because he was out there in, like I said, literally visiting other worlds, other galaxies, just kind of energetically roaming the cosmos, seeing other life forms, other planets, some of who were more developed than us, some of who were less developed. They were devolving into darkness. But a lot of them, he said, but overall, everybody is kind of sort of heading towards the light at whatever pace they're getting there. But if you think about it, they had the ability to come here and manipulate an entire and create an entire new species. And they ain't the oldest civilization, I'm sure, in the cosmos. They were just in the next star system or galaxy over from ours. And Nibiru might even still be in our galaxy. I don't know. But if you think about, scientists today know that there's thousands of galaxies out there. Well, truthfully, potentially millions of galaxies, because there's thousands of galaxies in our star system, in this quadrant of the universe. There could potentially be hundreds of thousands of galaxies out there. Why would we think that there's not more advanced life out there than us? We the new kids on the block. We the babies of the bunch. Genetically altered. We are a GMO product. Why would we think that there is not other organic species and races of people on other planets throughout other quadrants in the galaxy or in the cosmos? I've always felt that way, though. Even when I was a child, it never made sense to me when I read that about, an evening and morning came a sixth day, and then on the seventh day he rested. And I'm like, so you basically saying God is just a lazy fuck? He made humans because he was bored and it was a Tuesday. Because they don't ever tell you why they made man in their image in Genesis, not in the Bible story. They don't give you no reason for it whatsoever, which is also a problem, because it makes us think that the purpose of our being here was the purpose of our being here. It puts a false arrogance into a very puny creation. Humans are extremely arrogant for somebody that's as unintelligent as we are. We got that Karen syndrome where we stomp our foot and demand to speak, but again, that's because of the worship gene part of it. But this demand to, well, who is the one right God then? If you telling me Yahweh ain't the one, who do I need to go worship? Nobody. Yahweh is the liar that put the idea of worship in you in the first place. We're not supposed to be worshiping anyone or anything. Let's see. She says she agreed with Lotus Mindful. So what we see, you say you're receiving an expansion of knowledge you already possess through this channel. That I'm a gem. Your presence shine with clarity and wisdom, help you deepen what you already carry. Thank you. I'm glad it is helping. That's the whole reason that I want to be here, for real. It helps me too. Because I'd probably be doom scrolling somewhere watching. I mean, it may not be nothing wrong with doom scrolling, but expanding our minds and focusing on spirituality, in my opinion, is far more worthwhile than watching Real Housewives of anywhere. You know, I'm just, again, ain't trying to knock nobody in their hustle. Well, that's not true. They take us back up. That type of programming is put forth as entertainment. And I'm not just talking about Real Housewives. I'm talking about all of that. Mob Bosses, Dance Kids, I Am Jazz, the Kardashians, all of that kind of real low energy, quote unquote, reality TV, quote unquote, entertainment. People don't realize that that stuff was brought to us. They started doing it in like 98, 99, 2000. That is programming that has been used to put some very deleterious ways of, it's programming for mass consciousness. They launched the paranormal thirst, that idea everybody is all into chasing demons and wanting to sit around and listen to people doing ghost hunting in hospitals and vampire slayers and all that other stuff. Then they started pushing a homosexual agenda. Then they started pushing transgenderism. Then they started pushing, well, then they started, because a lot of these rolled out simultaneously, but these are some of the major things that they pushed into mass consciousness, especially in the U.S. and in Western television. And, of course, we can't forget about narcissism and codependency. They might as well call the Kardashians the narcissist show. Because I used to sit there a little bit. I sat back, I think, as a captive audience, I might have watched one or two episodes when I was visiting somebody else's house and they had it on their TV. But I've gone through, like, from time to time, YouTube shows stuff in bursts. So in watching the short reels of that show, all I ever saw was them sitting around with nice, nasty, mean girl narcissism. They can get away with it because they're wealthy, but when you put that kind of programming into females' heads, it don't play out so smooth amongst poor folk. It don't really play out that great amongst them, but when they're billionaires, they can kind of get away with it because they don't really give a crap, and Hollywood is paying them to push that nasty ass programming into the minds of primarily women and children. You say you can't stand Yahweh? Me either. Hey, Environment. You said extreme ego identification, for sure. Yep. Yep. All right, y'all. Unless somebody else got something they want to discuss, then I think we're going to put a pin in it here. I'm going to go and try to get myself some rest so I can get off to a good start for the upcoming week. Get some tarot done for y'all since I've been sitting up in my own problems for a few days. It's time for me to get back settled and get to work. I'm going to get up in the morning and have me a long salt bath and then try to get some work in. And we'll be back here on this channel on Tuesday evening for either wherever we go, whether it's probably continuing the Emerald Tablets, but wherever we go is where we go. And I appreciate the hugs for sure. I really do. I thank all of y'all that, like I said, have literally lifted me up over the past 24 hours. I thank you more than I can say. I really genuinely do. All right, y'all. You know, the rest, like I said, until, what do they say, in the meantime, in between time, until next time, sort of thing. And if you can't be good, be careful. That part. But yeah, I will talk to you all soon, and look for me in the WhatsApp group for those who are a part there. Hopefully I'll be posting some stuff because I'm gonna keep feeding my mind, and I'll share it with you. You all have a beautiful rest of your evening as well. Peace and blessings to you, soul family. I love you so very much. Namaste.